Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Looking back on 2021, this children's rhyme screams both ironic and relatable. It was the dream of a lifetime. A trip to the opposite coast of the country, the wild, wild west. As a girl growing up in the so-called boring state of Connecticut, visiting California had always been my dream. Whenever I saw pictures of it, I'd take the opportunity to ask for the 10th millionth time to go there. It was always a no, but for a good reason. My dad had stage 4 cancer. Now, I knew that the likelihood of visiting California was slim to none because of his compromised immune system, and I had accepted that. But then the year 2021 came around. That was a tough year. The cancer had spread. The concept of having stage 4 cancer is pretty serious, but we never actually thought about him dying because he always beat it. A new tumor showed up, he said he'd beat it no problem, and he did. But then in September of that damned year, his lung collapsed and he was dying, all because of the cancer. The thing we thought couldn't happen to the invincible man I called my father appeared to be happening. He was dying. I started looking for opportunities for us to get away together one last time, and I found one. The foundation that sent my family and I to California is called the Jack and Jill Late Stage Cancer Foundation. It was one of the best experiences we had ever had as a family, but also one of the most bittersweet at the same time. We got on a plane at 6 a.m. on December 3rd, 2021, and my blood was pumping. One thing that I haven't mentioned is that I love flying on airplanes, and the fact that we were flying to one of my dream destinations sent me into pure mania. It was like all of the fears and worries we had became less. We could enjoy ourselves together. We felt like a totally normal family. I felt like I was dreaming. Like me flying over California couldn't possibly be real. But it was, and it was epic. We got off the plane in the early afternoon and made our way to the hotel. And to our surprise, we were given the presidential suite on the top floor of a Sheraton, overlooking the North San Diego Bay Marina. The sky was as clear as I'd ever seen it, the sun was shining, and most importantly, we were happy and together as a family. We were there for a wow experience, and it sure was wowing us thus far. Over the course of the trip, we had multiple phenomenal meals, and there was one in particular that I'll never forget. We went to this Italian restaurant in Little Italy, decorated with string lights and heat lanterns that were putting off a dreamy glow. My favorite part of the meal was me and my father's celebratory espresso shots following our main entrees. We decided to each get one to celebrate the fact that we were able to, and just for fun. My poor father was freezing and in pain the entire time we were at dinner, but he didn't complain once. He even said that it was one of the best meals he had eaten in years. He made the best out of our bad situation and helped to foster an environment where we were all having a good time, despite his circumstances. Another memorable experience from the trip was our venture to the San Diego Safari Park. We were provided a private tour around the perimeter of the park. My dad and I were sitting in the golf cart looking around at the beautiful scenery when, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a little speck of gray running across the field. My dad whipped out his camera and zoomed in and went, "It's a baby white rhino." I will never forget the joy that I saw painted across his face the moment he realized what the animal was. I could only think how peaceful it must be to be a baby rhino running freely around a field without a worry in the world. In that moment, I felt like that baby rhino because I was with the person who meant the most in the world to me, and in that moment, he was okay. After the trip, everything was good for a week or two, kind of like we were still thriving from the experience we had just had as a family. But then we got the call that changed all of our lives. The tumors were back, and with a vengeance. The last treatment had stopped working. Now, this is where the irony comes in. We felt on top of the world as a family because of the Jack and Jill Late Stage Cancer Foundation, or on top of the hill as the rhyme says. But then, as the rhyme continues, Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. My dad, or Jack in this instance, fell down and broke his crown, falling at home after intensive treatment. The day of this accident was the last time he was ever home. However, Jill or myself did not come tumbling after. I stood strong and hoped with my whole being that he would be okay. I took a positive stance, regardless of the fact that I saw what was happening right in front of me. Looking back, this trip taught me to live in the moment and to not dwell on what may happen in the future. I knew that my father would succumb to his illness at one point or another, and if I had chosen to focus on that in California, then none of the experiences we had there would have been the same. They would have been filled with sour memories full of sorrow rather than what they were. Memories full of joy and gratefulness that we got to be a family one last time before he died.